it anymore. All right, what's the fastest way? For most people, they say, I need money. I'm like, okay, how are you going to get money? Let's start working on it. Because money is easy. The acceptance of money is not so easy. Now I'm going to take you into another concept. And the concept is called thermostats. Anybody ever read Flow or any of the books along that? Okay. Yeah, the salient points of the book is about the fact that we have a set point. We have a thermostat, especially around money. And it works just like the thermostat for an air conditioning unit. My set point used to be $3,000 a month. That was my set point. That was my comfort zone. If I started making $5,000 a month, guess what? It would come right back down. I would not be able to sustain it. Why? Because I was outside of my comfort zone. The comfort zone is there for a reason. It's a survival trait. It works for everybody. It works in every area of our lives. We have thermostats that are set. Money is the easiest one to address, easiest one to notice. We know that people who win the lottery, they win millions of dollars. Within 2 years, what is their income? Right back where it started from. There are people who know that if they looked around at their 5 closest friends, they could predict their own income within a couple of grand a year because that's their comfort zone. Because if they started making more money than that, it wouldn't be so comfortable with their friends. I did not realize the impact of limiting beliefs about money until I had a conversation with my mother. My mama. Here's how the conversation went. I'm on the phone, I'm all excited, I've got a great big project that I just took on. It is the biggest, hairiest, scariest project I have ever done. It's going to take me a year and a half. Now remember, I have ADD tendencies. For me to take on a year and a half project, this was a big deal. I'm talking to my mom, I'm so excited. She says, well, if you don't mind my asking, how much are you going to get paid for this? And I told her, and she said, well, you're going to make so much money, you won't even want to talk to me. Now, I had been through enough training that I recognized a limiting belief about money when it hit me in the head, okay? Started waking me up to where I had my own. Pay attention to your language. When you talk about money with other people, do you say, I can't afford it? Or do you say, I choose not to invest my money there at the moment? Energetically, these are two very different statements. They mean exactly the same thing. It's a polite way of saying no. Ladies, no is a complete sentence. You could just say no and put a period after it. But we explain, you know, and our usual answer when it comes to a conversation about money is to minimize the money that we have, to minimize our power with money, to diminish our ability to have money. We say, I can't afford it. It's like putting an order ticket into a restaurant. The universe says, okay, you can't afford it. Yeah. Think about the language that you use, because what we hear impacts us. So the language that you use becomes really, really important. How many of you really, really, really want that designer pair of shoes that expresses your divine self in a way nothing else would? Yeah, Deborah, I knew. What do you say when you're going to go look at? Yeah, you're going to go look in the store. Oh, I'm not going to let myself look at that because, and we put this limiter on our ability to have money flow into our lives. Here's what happens with most people: they start making more money, and it flows in, and it flows right back out. They haven't made a plan for it. When you start examining these beliefs, you also start realizing that if I want more money, I need to prove that I'm ready for it and that I know what to do with it, which is one of the reasons why for this particular training, I partnered up with Rudd International for it. They are wise money people. Hanging out with Lauren Rudd, you get to build this reservoir so that when the money flows in, there's this depression here that some of it can settle in and stay. When I work with teenagers, I ask them, what are you going to do with the next $5 that comes your way unexpectedly? What are you going to do with the next 50? that comes your way unexpectedly. Ladies, make a plan for it. And I don't mean a plan that says, oh, I'm going to pay off a bill. There is nothing exciting about paying off debt. Yes, we all do it, and we're all going to do it, but that in and of itself is not going to motivate you to hang on to your money. Think about this. It's not going to motivate you to make more money. You know, if I'm going to make more money and I'm just going to give it to somebody else, well, let's just short circuit the whole thing and I'll go back to bed. Yeah. But what if I'm going to make more money and the next $50 that comes in, I'm hitting the new mall for one of those fancy restaurants that just opened up. Now I got a plan. Now I got a reason to be excited. What if the next $50 that came my way unexpectedly, I'm getting together with 3 of my best girlfriends and we are going to go out to the beach and we're going to buy the best bottle of wine we can buy for $50, and the 4 of us are going to bring our crystal glasses and we're going to have a party on the beach. A high-class party. Let yourself experience luxury. If you want to change your financial thermostat, let yourself experience abundance. Don't hold it back from yourself. This is really important. Most of the time we do not know what our limiting beliefs about money are. And most of what I do is call people on their BS. Their BS is your belief system. You probably don't know that you have them. You have your mothers, you have your fathers, you have your culture, you have your community, you have your whatever your religious figures of authority are, you have your medical authority figures, you have all of these belief systems. You have been exposed to them. No one told you they were contagious. We're going to talk about some really hard things coming into the next section. I'm going to end this section with effective decision making. Why is it difficult? Because you don't know what's running in the background of your mind. When you start doing these exercises about checking out whose ballpark you're making decisions in, if it's your ballpark, are you setting the rules? So when you go into the ballpark theory and you go, yeah, it's my ballpark, well, what are the rules? And are they written down? And do you keep yourself accountable to them? Because if you don't keep yourself in integrity with the rules of your own ballpark, why would you expect somebody else to? Okay, lesson for life. If you don't like how someone is treating you, forgive them immediately and take a look at how you're treating yourself, because we only allow people to treat us as badly as we treat ourselves. We train other people how they can treat us by what we tolerate, back to the tolerations. All of this does kind of weave together. If you feel totally lost at any time, feel free to ask me a question. But all of this weaves together and creates a support system for the life that you want to create. That's the whole purpose of today. It's to give you enough tools that you can come out of where you've been and start realizing that you do have creative power in your own life. So that's the underlying of this. Going to get a lot of hard skills. We're going to go into working with marketing and networking skills. And that's going to be the next section. And before we do that, I am going to give you a little more information about the stress intervention technique training and why people do this. There are a few people in the room, including Luann, who have been through some or all of the training. And I'm going to invite Luann to talk for just a minute about why she came into it and what's been happening for her, just so that you'll understand the background. So, do you care if it's on tape? Or you want?
I don't care.
Okay. Do you?
In a few minutes, I'll hook up a mic.
Oh.
I'll take a break.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Everybody, let's take another break.
Let's take a break.
There you go. We'll
Here we
hook
go.
you. Get your mic. So we'll be going into the networking portion of the training in just a few minutes. But before we do, I wanted to tie some of these last pieces together. Because when we start talking about belief systems and what gets in our way and needing to, the value of using reframing, having a framework that's different to make a decision in, This hails back to the work of Einstein, who said you cannot solve a problem from the same brain that created the problem. So the tools that we started out with this morning, where we were working with the basics of the stress intervention technique, are all about being able to change your brain out of the brain that created what you're currently dealing with. And so I'm going to let Luann just explain to you and tell you her story about what the stress intervention technique, why that caught her attention, and what she was looking for it from, and what she actually got out of it.
Hello. Some of you know me, and my name's Luann Morrow, and I am a fairly successful businesswoman in the community. 30 years as a life coach helping seniors in their transitions into senior homes. But I became very interested when I met Jackie in the SIT training, and I discovered about myself that there were some things that I had inside that were limiting me. And so I actually took the training and became a certified practitioner. But it all came together very recently when my doctor told me I had to have an MRI. And I went into panic. I have always told myself that I was claustrophobic. And I had good reasons. I had several significant events in my life that I used to validate my claustrophobia. And I had avoided MRIs because I just couldn't. I mean, you know what an MRI is. And I did. The last MRI I had was on my finger, actually. And I was in an open MRI. I wasn't even in the machine, and I still had a severe panic attack. So when the doctor told me this time I had to have an MRI on my shoulder, I knew I would be in the machine. So I had a conversation with Jackie, and I said, I need to bring this to you and bring it to the sitting room. And we did. No one was, I knew how powerful the sitting room was, but I was absolutely panicked about it when my doctor told me. I didn't sleep. I had visions of the machine. I was a mess. After sitting with Jackie and doing the training, going through the process, the night before my MRI, I slept all night. I got up in the morning. I was perfectly calm. I had my MRI. My son and I went out for breakfast. It was a wonderful day. I couldn't believe that I could do that. But I had been carrying that garbage with me, that trash with me my whole life, and didn't really realize how heavy it was until this process helped me take it to the street. I got rid of it forever, and I feel so much better. Thank you, Jackie.